YouTube, what's good? Your boy Fade Nice Good here. I'm gonna show y'all a little tutorial on how I do a drop fade. It's a pretty popular haircut right now. First, we start off by picking the client's hair out. Want to make sure it's good and picked out, have a clean workspace. It's gonna be a nice clean fade. I start off with the WAHL 3/16 closed. It's also called a 1.5 guard with the WAHLs. I'm gonna show different brands, got different measurements, so you wanna learn all those measurements. But this is a 3/16 close, and I'm just removing some bulk right now. Just remove some of that bulk before I get into the fade. So that's what I'm doing right here, taking the 3/16 guard and just removing some of the bulk, you know, giving me some room to work to get that fade started. So to start this fade off, we start with the no guard blade close. I'm using my WAHL seniors. I like how the fades look with these clippers. I'm also switch up the clippers and the guards to just show y'all, you know, different guards and clipper work. But starting my WAHL seniors all the way closed. And when I'm doing a drop fade, I like to start going right above the ear and dropping right down behind the ear. I like to make it look kind of like a roller coaster. You know, I call it like the roller coaster effect. How a roller coaster just drops down, it's gonna drop right down behind the ear. And then when I start on the side, I go to the back and I come back around to the side to meet up with it. For me, it works. It helps the liner stay straighter and even. Now this client, his hair, if you can see in the back, his hair grows to the side. Like the hair on the left, it grows to the right. So I just cut, you know, against the way the hair is growing to get a nice, smooth, clean cut. He's not getting the skin fade. He's not getting it bald. I would have used my liners if he wanted it bald, but he didn't want it all the way bald. So I just used the blade close to get that real low look. I'm just gonna do half of the haircut. I'm gonna show y'all one side. What you do to one side, you're gonna do to the other. So all the stuff I'm doing on this side of the head, you would do to the other side, the same steps. Still cleaning up that hair, making sure it's nice and even. Getting all the hairs, all the small hairs. You just wanna make sure everything is nice and even and ain't no hairs missing. Clients really appreciate when you take your time and get that fade looking nice and blended. So now we're gonna open the blade up. I'm showing you what open is. It's when a blade is pushed all the way up. It's called open. And we're gonna go up above that line that we just started. You see how I'm going up, I'm flicking, I'm not really digging into the hair. I'm just going up and creating another line. But I don't wanna make a super hard line, so going up about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. This client got a pretty small head, so I don't want to take the fade up too high because he still wants it to be kind of round at the top. He don't want it to be too boxy like a high top fade. So I'm going up about a 1/2 inch. And again, like I said, I'm not showing both sides of the haircut. What you do to one side, you're gonna do to the other. Just to save some time, I'm just showing one side. But again, you wanna create that line, like I said, a roller coaster. You see how I drop down like a roller coaster? Drop down over the ear and then straighten up in the back. And I'm not digging into the hair. I'm letting the clippers do the work. Brush the workspace, make sure you got a clean workspace. You don't wanna have all the hair that you done cut covering up your workspace. Closing the blade right here. And I'm just gonna use the corner of the blade. Let that corner of the blade be your best friend when it comes to these fades, man. Using just the corner of the blade, and I'm just gonna attack that line, that first line I created. This is how I do it. I don't like to make all the guidelines first and then go back. I make the first 2 guidelines and I get rid of that bald line that I just created. And like I say, I'm just using the corner. And you're gonna see that line start to disappear. short, small strokes, just tapping the line, getting rid of that guideline that I put in. When you dig real hard into the skin, you make it harder to remove the line, so you don't want to dig real hard and make a real hard line. Still using the corner of the blade, and I'm not going up too high. I'm just staying right at that line. And now you see the back of the hair. See, I'm going to the side because I'm going against the way his hair is growing. If you go straight up and the hair in the back is going to the side, it's not going to cut the hair and it's not going to be a smooth fade. So you got to go the same way that the hair is going, or against the hair. Putting the guard halfway open, and now I'm going right above that first guideline. So above the first one, but below the second one. So I'm in between them two guidelines. And I do this just to add a better transition, make it look a little more gradient. Closing the blade. I seen some hairs that I could have went back and attacked, so closing the blade, going to get those little hairs. If you see any spots you done miss, don't be scared to go back and get those spots. You don't want to raise the guideline though. You don't want to create a new line. Just take the corner of that blade and attack those little hairs that you might see. I wanted to show the full haircut without really skipping any steps. So this is the WAHL 1/8 guard, also called a number 1. It's called a number 1 on the WAHLs. And I take that and I go up over the second guideline that I made. I'm going up again about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Every haircut is different. Every client is different. So, you know, depending on the client's head and how it's shaped will depend on, and how high they want their fade will depend on how high you go up. But he doesn't want this to look like a boxy, you know, high top fade. He want to keep the top still kind of round. So I'm not going up super high. And I'm using that comb, the blade, or the guard, just scooping out the hair. I'm putting the blade on there and I'm just scooping out. I'm not digging into the hair. I'm letting the clippers do the work. Again, you can see I'm just scooping, man. It's like if you was to pick your hair out or pick somebody's hair out, you put the pick in and you just scoop it away, you know, pull the hair away. That's how you want to do it when you fading. So now I'm taking my 3/16 guard. It's also called a 1.5 with the WAHLs. This is a WAHL 1.5. Closing that up. And we're gonna go right over the previous guideline I just made. Again, just using that comb like I'm picking the hair, going in and just pulling the hair out, not really digging. Next, I'm taking my 1/16 closed. Is also known as the half guard on the WAHLs. It's a half guard or 1/16. Closing that, and I'm going to tack that line right there that I'm showing you. Again, when you removing the line, you just want to use the corner of the blade. So I'm using the corner of the blade just to attack that line. I'm not going up too high, you know, bringing the fade up too high. I'm just hitting that line. You gotta get your eyes on what you want to do and just stick with that. Don't be moving around bringing the fade up too high, because then you're gonna put yourself in a little hole and you don't want to have to do that. So just knock the guideline out. As you can see, the fade is already starting to come together using the corner of the blade. Let that corner of the blade, I say, it's your best friend when it comes to fading. Using the corner of the blade to get those hairs in the back. And his hair, like I say, it grows all different which ways. So if his hair is going one way, I'm gonna have to angle my hand to attack those hairs, you know, going opposite of which ways the hair is growing. Now right here, I open the guard up and go right above the guideline. Again, it just adds some gradiency to the fade. I'm not really digging because I don't want to create another line. Going right above that line I created. Some guards and some people's hair, you don't have to do this step because it'll already look perfectly blended. So it all depends on the cut and the client. If it don't look blended, this is another step you can add. So here I'm taking that one guard, or the 1/8, I'm closing it, and I'm going right above the previous spot I just used. Just to add gradiency. I like my face to look real blurry. Nobody should be able to tell where your guidelines were when they're looking at somebody fade. You shouldn't be able to see the guidelines. It should look nice and blurry from bald all the way up to the hair. You shouldn't be able to tell where the guidelines were. Going to the side. The reason I'm cutting to the side because his hair grows to the right on that side, so I'm cutting to the left. And like, look at the fade, it's looking real good already. That joint is looking real good. See how I comb the hair after every few strokes? You want to comb the hair to lay it back down, give yourself a clean workspace. So now I'm using my fade masters. I'm showing you the different blades and guards. This is a 2 guard or a 1/4 on the ANDIS guards. Put my 2 guard, close it, close the blade, and I'm going up into the hair and just flicking it out. I'm not really digging. Adding more transition, more gradiency to the fade. Again, you want to learn those measurements on the guards and you want to learn those numbers on the guards because different brands use different measurements for their numbers. But the number 2 on the ANDIS is a 1/4 guard. Again, I'm using that scooping motion, you know, like I'm picking the hair out, going in and just pulling that hair out. And I'm only going up about a 1/2 inch. I'm not going up real high. Even when you see me moving real fast with the clippers, I'm not going up real high. I'm keeping it in the same little area that I want it because you want to keep the top still rounded. Now you see this line right here? I want to attack that line. Again, every fade is different. You might not have this problem or issue, but if you do see a line, you got to get rid of it. So I'm using the 0 guard on the ANDIS, and I'm going to attack that line. Still, since I see it's a line, you want to use the corner of the blade. Only using the corner. And now that line is pretty much gone. I'm opening it up halfway, and I'm going right above that line because I've seen some more hairs I could get. I don't like the face to look half done. But you see that fade is looking real butter and blended. And this is just me knowing my levers and knowing what I want to do. I close that lever. Once you get some practice in and you get good at fading, you're going to know to open and close to attack certain hairs, but that's all going to come with practice. I took the guard off and I got the blade open. And I'm just hitting that very, very bottom line because I've seen a few hairs I could attack. Again, if you don't got multiple clippers, it's okay. I could have did this whole fade with 1 clipper, but I wanted to show the different guards and the different measurements on the different guards. I'm just doing some little spot check and just cleaning up the fade. That's all I'm doing. Put my ANDIS 1 guard back on. Spot checking some more, just cleaning up the fade. Making sure I got all the hairs that I could get with that guard. So now I'm gonna go to the 3 guard. Normally if they was getting like a high top fade, I'll shape it up. Without the guard, I'll take the guard off, I'll close the clippers and I'll shape the hair up. But he's, like I said, he wanted it round, so I'm just gonna get these little scraggle hairs with the 3 guard so I could keep it round. Now I'm picking the hair out. Fade looking good. Right here, I take my clippers, I close the blade, and I get all them scraggle hairs in the front before I line it up. I'm not digging into the hair, I'm not going too far into the hair, I'm just getting all them scraggle hairs before I line it up, because you don't want the hairs to fall once they done went to sleep or did whatever. You know, you want to get all them hairs that's over the line so it's nothing there to cause a line to look messed up the next day or not as crispy the next day. And here I take my ANDIS 1 guard, which is also a 1/8 on the ANDIS. I close it and I just attack the very, very front of the line. I get all them little baby hairs at the front of the line to make sure all those hairs is laying down so the line could be a lot crisper, especially when you're dealing with somebody with a lot of hair like a fro up top. You gotta make sure those hairs laying down. Then I spray it with some spritz to hold the hair in place. Let the spritz dry up a little bit while you combing it. Comb all those hairs down so they stay in place. It just make the line pop when you line it up. Start from the center of the head when you lining up and work your way out. You don't want to start on the side and go to the middle. You want to start in the middle and go out to the side because it's a shorter distance. You can get the line straighter that way without pushing them back. And when I'm lining up, I use 2 different liners. These liners right here not modified. There's no modified blade on it. I did 0 gap the blade, but it's not modified. I like to do a little outline first. This is just personal to make my lines real crispy. Do a little outline with my regular liners, the non-modified blade. They still some hitters though. Working on the box on the side. Showing you the side angle. When I'm doing the lines on the side, I like to create a C shape but still following the natural pattern of their hairline. So this is the top of the C, I would consider it. And then I go to the sideburns and work my way up to what I just did at the top of the C. I try to meet in the middle. It just works easier for me. I like to make shorter distances so that I'm not, you know, pushing back or making a line crooked. And just like that, it's an easy C shape. Top of the C, then go to the bottom and meet your way in the middle. Now the fade is almost done, or the cut is almost done, but it's still not done. But right now you can see the fade looking real good, real blurry. Can't really see any can't see any guidelines. After doing that, I hit it with the razor. When you razoring, you want to make sure you pull the skin down, stretch the skin as much as you can. Nice short strokes, lay the blade flat down on their head and go up. You do not want to cut a client. That will not be a good look. Get all those small little baby hairs. Fade looking real clean. Stretching the skin, short strokes with the razor. And with the box, I like to use the corner of that razor. Just push back. Right here, I just put some water on my hand to wet the hair when you sponging. I like to use water. I think it's the best versus any styling gels or anything. Or I use a spray bottle. You know, you can spray the client hair with water. But you just want to have the hair a little moisturized. Then hit it with the sponge. I go clockwise, and go around the whole head clockwise. Whichever way you start going, you want to do that around the whole head when you're sponging. This was a brand new sponge I just got, so I had to keep going over it. It wasn't even really broke in yet. Sponge look just add even more to the cut. Some people like to rock the fro. I think the sponge just add a better look and make the cut look even better. So you want to make sure you got a few crispy sponges on deck for the clients. Right here I'm adding the fibers. This client get fibers. Most of my customers get the enhancements on the line because it just make the line pop. I'm not anti-enhancement, but you want to make sure it look natural. I'm doing real small pumps. The color I use is dark brown. Find a good fiber of your choice. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I'm not really promoting any brands, but I use dark brown hair fibers. And right here you can see I'm using a modified blade. This joint is grinded down. It's a real hitter, 0 gap. And I just go over the fibers that I just sprayed to make that line really pop. One more time. I'm not pushing back, I'm just going over that first outline that I made. So we're coming to the end of the cut. If you liked anything, learned anything, hopefully you can subscribe to me. Click the like button, share it, pass it on. I'll be doing a lot more videos. This was my first tutorial video, so hopefully you enjoyed it. They're gonna be getting better. I'm gonna be getting more equipment and just getting bigger and better with the videos. I'm gonna be doing step-by-step vids to show the whole cut, not leaving out no steps, you know what I'm saying? This is the final product of the cut. If you like it, subscribe, comment, let me know what I could have did better. I'm here for all the feedback, and thanks for watching.